Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
The first thing I remember is silence, followed by the long, piercing scream of the heart monitor. My chest burned as if someone had struck a match inside me. Later, they told me I had been gone for 3 minutes. Clinical death, they called it. To me, it felt like an endless fall into nothingness. When I opened my eyes again, the world was blurred, white, and sterile. A man's voice trembled near me. "Mrs. Edwards, can you hear me?" I blinked. The nurse leaned close, his name tag tilted, Carlos. His eyes were kind, but wet with shock. He pressed a trembling hand to mine. "You're back," he whispered, almost to himself. I tried to form a word, but my throat was sandpaper. "My sons." Carlos hesitated. Too long. His silence felt heavier than the machines around me. Finally, he slipped a folded note onto my blanket. "They left this for you." With fingers that barely obeyed, I opened it. The words danced before me. "Mom, we're off to the Caribbean for the month. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Hope you're better when we return. Love, Evan and Henry." My heart tightened harder than when it had stopped. A vacation. While I lay dying. I looked at Carlos. They knew. My voice rasped like broken glass. He nodded once, lips pressed tight. "I'm sorry. They didn't want to be disturbed." For 17 days, I stayed in that ICU. I learned the ceiling tiles by heart, counted the beeps of the machines, memorized the way Carlos adjusted my IV when he thought I was asleep. Not once did the door open to my family. No flowers, no calls. Nothing but the hollow echo of abandonment. On the 12th day, Carlos paused during his rounds, pulling up a chair. "You're stronger than they think," he said softly. I smiled without humor. "Stronger than they want me to be." He frowned. "When you leave here, what will you do?" I stared at the blank wall, imagining the house I had worked my life to build. "I'll find out who I am without them." The night before my discharge, I sat upright in bed, staring at the city lights through the window. I felt my old life dissolving like mist. My sons had left me behind, and in their choice, they had given me clarity. I wasn't going back to the same Matilda. I was going back to reclaim her. When I unlocked my front door that day, something felt terribly wrong. The smell of fresh paint and sterile air clung to the hallway, erasing the warmth I had cultivated for decades. My living room was stripped bare, furniture tagged with labels, family portraits replaced with brochures advertising a spacious property ideal for investors. My heart pounded as I stumbled through the rooms, each one colder than the last. In the kitchen, a folder set neatly on the counter, contracts, estate documents, and a power of attorney. My eyes froze on the signatures. My signature was crudely forged by one of my sons. Their betrayal hit me harder than any physical blow. They had planned this carefully, securing authority to sell the house, and according to the notes, arrange my transfer to a nursing home. The cruelty was unthinkable. My hands trembled as I picked up my phone, not to call them, with someone I trusted, Robert. Once my intern, now a respected attorney, he answered immediately. "Mrs. Edwards," he said, his tone shifting when he heard my shaking voice. "Robert, they've signed my name. They want me gone. They want my home." "I'll come right away," he promised. "Don't panic. We can undo this." True to his word, he arrived that evening, flipping through the documents with sharp eyes. These signatures wouldn't fool a blind man. "It's fraud, plain and simple." He explained my rights, guiding me through rescinding the forged power. Relief mingled with grief as I realized I wasn't powerless. That night, as I lay awake, the echo of betrayal pressed heavy against me. But underneath the weight, a spark lit. Resolve. If my own son saw me as a burden to discard, then I would choose for myself. Robert wasted no time. Within days, he had drafted the necessary documents, revoked the fraudulent power of attorney, and placed legal safeguards around my estate. His calm precision steadied me, but inside, I was still reeling. My sons, my flesh and blood, were sipping cocktails by turquoise waters while plotting to cage me in a sterile home. "We move fast," Robert advised. "Before they're back, you decide what to do with the house. Once it's gone, they'll have no leverage." So I did what I never imagined. I sold the very house where I had raised them. Realtors were astonished at how quickly I accepted a cash buyer's offer. I watched strangers wrap my furniture, box my books, and carry away fragments of a life I thought would anchor me until my final breath. Strangely, it didn't break me, it freed me. I changed the locks one last time, left the keys on the counter, and walked away. Not a note, not a forwarding address. Just silence. A train ticket carried me to a quiet coastal town 3 states away. No one knew my name here. I was just another older woman searching for peace. I rented a modest apartment near the water, bought secondhand furniture, and let the salty air wash away the bitterness. Days turned into weeks. I began volunteering at a community center, tutoring children who needed patience more than perfection. That's how I met Angel, a young single mother juggling work and raising her 5-year-old son, Jimmy. Jimmy's smile melted the loneliness I carried. He began calling me his dearest grandmother, with such innocent certainty that tears welled in my eyes. Perhaps blood ties had betrayed me, but love found me in unexpected places. For the first time in years, I felt at home. Back in my old neighborhood, my sudden disappearance did not go unnoticed. Neighbors had watched my son swagger about, boasting of their plans for my house. When the truth leaked that they had forged my signature and arranged to sell my property without consent, the whispers turned to outrage. Local papers picked up the story, branding Evan and Henry as heartless men who abandoned their mother for the Caribbean sun. Headlines blared, "Brothers attempt to dispose his ailing mother." The scandal snowballed, and Sin television crews lingered outside the vacant house, reporting every sordid detail. By then, I was quietly attending Jimmy's kindergarten plays and helping Angel fold laundry late into the evening. I had traded shame for serenity. Still, my past had a way of circling back. The moment came during Jimmy's birthday party. Angel had organized balloons, cake, and laughter in her small backyard. Someone filmed a short video. Jimmy blowing out candles, me standing beside him, smiling with unguarded joy. The clip, meant for friends, wound up online. It didn't take long before my face was recognized. The woman supposedly missing had been found. Messages poured into my old acquaintances' feeds. "She's alive. She looks happy." Evan and Henry saw it too. They showed up days later, knocking on my door, red-faced with embarrassment and rage. "Mother, how could you do this?" Evan barked as though I had wronged him. "You shamed us publicly," Henry hissed. But I only stood taller, my hand resting on Jimmy's shoulder. For once, I didn't cower. They had stripped me of trust, but not of strength. The confrontation was brief but searing. My sons spoke of reconciliation, but their eyes glimmered with calculation, not remorse. They wanted restoration of image, not relationship. "I found my life now," I told him firmly. "I don't need what you offer or what you took." Evan's jaw clenched. Henry muttered about inheritance, about family obligations. I raised a hand, silencing them. "You had your chance to be sons. You chose greed instead. I choose peace." They left in anger, slamming the door so hard it rattled the frame. I sank into a chair, trembling but unbroken. Angel squeezed my hand. Jimmy nestled into my lap, whispering, "Don't be sad, Grandma. We love you." In that moment, I realized forgiveness was not always owed. My worth was not tied to their approval. Blood had failed me, but love had found me anew. I kept volunteering, teaching, and building a circle of friends who valued me for who I was. Angel and Jimmy became my family in every way that mattered. When I watched Jimmy run across the yard one summer evening, calling me to join his game, I smiled. I was no longer someone's burden. I was free, I was loved, and I was finally, undeniably, home.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.